The reason your garbage disposal smells like something died in it, and it keeps coming back no matter how many lemon peels you throw down there, is that you're cleaning the wrong thing entirely. You're cleaning the blades. The blades aren't the problem. The blades are almost never the problem. What's making your kitchen smell like a dumpster at the end of July is growing on parts of the disposal. You've literally never seen and can't reach with a sponge. It's not food. It's alive. And the fix costs under $1 and takes about 4 minutes, which is probably why nobody sells it in a shiny pod at the grocery store for $15. What's actually growing down there isn't food. It's biofilm. The same slimy bacterial layer that forms inside a flower vase after 3 days, except this one is being fed a constant diet of coffee grounds, eggshells, and last night's pasta water. Biofilm is what bacteria build when they settle in somewhere and decide to stay. They secrete a kind of protective goo around themselves, anchor to a surface, and start a small city. And a garbage disposal is, from a bacterial perspective, one of the most perfect biofilm habitats in your entire house. It's dark. It's warm. It's wet 24 hours a day. It has organic material raining down into it at every meal. And critically, it has surfaces that nothing ever touches. Specifically the underside of the rubber splash guard, the wall of the grind chamber above the blades, and the little ledge right where the drain pipe exits. Those 3 zones are where 90% of your smell is coming from, not the blades. The blades get rinsed every time you run water. The biofilm zones don't. They just sit there, accumulating. And when enough bacteria are metabolizing enough stuck food particles, they release volatile sulfur compounds. That's the smell. That's what's hitting your nose. It's not rotten food. It's bacterial exhaust. Here's the uncomfortable truth about lemon peels. They smell amazing for about 40 minutes, and then the biofilm wins again. Citrus doesn't kill bacteria in any meaningful way at the concentrations you're using. It just masks the odor with something more pleasant while your nose recalibrates. The acidity is too brief and too diluted to break down the protective layer the biofilm is built around itself. Same problem with vinegar flushes, same problem with baking soda fizzing. They smell like they're doing something. They bubble, they foam, they give you that chemistry class feeling of progress, but they don't scrub. And biofilm fundamentally has to be physically removed. Chemistry alone won't get it. You can pour bleach down there and you'll kill the surface layer, but the structural matrix underneath stays intact and reseeds itself within a day or 2. That's why the smell always comes back. It's not that your cleaning method failed, it's that your cleaning method never reached the problem. And those pods and foams sold at every grocery store, most of them are surfactants and fragrance. They foam up, they smell like spa water for an afternoon, and 2 days later, you're back where you started. Except you're $15 lighter and have 3 more uses in the box before you repurchase. Walk into the back of any decent restaurant at 9 p.m., and somewhere near the dish pit, you'll see someone dumping a scoop of kosher salt and a tray of ice cubes into the disposal while the last tables are finishing dessert. This isn't folklore. This is standard practice in commercial kitchens, because commercial kitchens run their disposals hundreds of times harder than you ever will, and if they relied on pods and lemon peels, the whole building would smell like a crime scene by Thursday. What they figured out a long time ago, and what never really got marketed to home cooks because there's no product to sell, is that the problem is mechanical, not chemical. You need something that physically scours the interior surfaces of the disposal. The walls, the underside of the splash guard, the corners where the pipe exits, places a brush can't reach and a liquid can't scrub. You need an abrasive that can travel through the chamber, bounce around, hit every surface, and then disappear down the drain without clogging anything or damaging the machine. Salt and ice are the answer, because almost nothing else fits all those requirements at once. They're cheap, they're safe for plumbing, they're safe for the motor, and they do the one thing the pods can't do. They actually touch the biofilm. Ice alone is doing one job, salt alone is doing a different job. The reason the combination is so much better than either one is that together they become something neither of them is individually. Ice cubes, when they hit the grinding ring, get shattered into dozens of small, hard fragments. Those fragments get flung outward against the walls of the chamber by centrifugal force, and because they're rigid and sharp-edged, they act like hundreds of tiny scrapers. That alone will dislodge a significant amount of surface gunk. But ice has a problem. It's smooth, it's slippery, and it melts fast. So, on its own, it glances off biofilm more than it tears into it. That's where the salt comes in. Coarse salt crystals have jagged, irregular edges. They don't melt at room temperature. And when you pour them in with the ice, they get embedded into the ice fragments and coat the surfaces of everything that's spinning around in there. Now, every ice shard has sandpaper glued to it. You've turned a soft projectile into an abrasive one. And because salt is denser than water, it also pulls moisture out of the biofilm matrix as it contacts it, which weakens the bacterial goo and makes it easier to tear free. So you've got mechanical abrasion happening simultaneously with osmotic disruption. The ice carries the The salt does the scrubbing. The spinning blades provide the energy. The cold temperature makes grease inside the chamber firm up and flake off instead of smearing around. And everything, the dislodged biofilm, the melted ice, the dissolved salt, the grease flakes, gets flushed out through the drain as water. Nothing stays behind. Nothing clogs. Nothing damages the motor because ice is softer than the steel of the blades, and salt dissolves the moment warm water hits it. It's one of those solutions that seems almost too simple until you look at what each part is actually doing, and then you realize it's not simple at all. It's just elegant. Every element has a job. Every element finishes its job and then vanishes. You need 2 cups of ice and about half a cup of coarse salt. Kosher or rock salt, not the fine table stuff. Fine salt dissolves too fast and doesn't give you the abrasive edges you need. Rock salt, or the kind of kosher salt you'd use to brine a turkey, is ideal. Start with the disposal off and the water off. Dump the ice in first, then pour the salt directly on top of the ice in the chamber. Don't turn on the water yet. This is the mistake most people make. Water will melt the ice and flush the salt before either of them gets to work. You want them dry in the chamber when the blades start. Turn the disposal on without running any water and let it grind for about 10 to 15 seconds. You'll hear a loud crunching, almost violent sound. That's normal. That's the ice shattering and the salt getting thrown against the walls. After that initial grind, turn on cold water. Cold, not hot, because cold keeps any remaining grease solid, so it gets scoured off instead of liquefying and redepositing. And let it run for another 20 seconds with the disposal still going. This flushes everything out. Shut off the disposal, shut off the water, and you're done. If this is your first time doing it and the disposal has been neglected for a while, you may want to do a second round. You'll know it worked because there's usually a noticeable change in the smell within about 10 minutes. Not a fragrance covering the problem, just the absence of the problem. A neutral, clean smell. For maintenance, once every 2 weeks is plenty. If you cook a lot or use the disposal heavily, once a week. That's it. You don't need to buy anything special. You don't need a subscription. You just need to remember to do it. What bothers me about the whole garbage disposal cleaning industry, the pods, the sprays, the deodorizing foam cartridges that cost $15 for 4 uses, is that none of it works better than something that costs under $1. It's not that those products are scams exactly. They do something. They smell nice for a few hours. But they're designed to treat the symptom, because the symptom is what you can smell, and the symptom is what sells refills. The actual problem, biofilm on surfaces you can't see, requires physical abrasion, and physical abrasion doesn't fit into a pod, so it doesn't get marketed. The restaurants figured this out because they had to. Home cooks mostly never got told. Now you know what your grandparents probably knew and what your local line cook definitely knows. Next time your sink starts to smell, you'll reach for the salt in the ice tray instead of the hardware store. And the next time someone in your kitchen complains about the disposal, you'll be the person who actually has the answer instead of the person spraying fragrance into a drain and hoping. If you want more of these, actual working kitchen and home methods that aren't built around selling you something, subscribe and I'll keep digging them up. Drop a comment if you try this one, especially if your disposal was really far gone. I want to hear how fast it turned around.